Hello and good morning. This is Sandy with Suburban Homesteader, Wyoming, Arizona. And I am starting a new series of live streams Monday mornings, 9:30. And they're going to be a little bit different than my other live streams. I always like to have a topic on any of my live streams. I just don't want to sit up here and babble. But Monday moments will be things to more think about, ponder, see what you can do with those things. And today we're talking about, are we amateurs or professionals? And what that really means. And Kitty Creations, hello. I'm the first person to see the live stream. You are the first person on my new live stream. I'm so excited. Thanks for stopping in. And this morning we're going to talk about what it really means to be an amateur and what it means to be a professional. And you might say, well, I'm a homesteader. I don't even have to think about those things. Do you? Maybe we should talk about that. Maybe you're going to look at it in a different perspective by the time this 30-minute live stream is up. So probably we have to do some definitions first. Like, what is an amateur? Now, a lot of times when we think of amateur and professional, we think of, an amateur baseball player versus a professional baseball player. We think of a amateur as maybe a blue collar and a professional as a white collar worker. These things are not necessarily the case. An amateur is somebody that does usually just enough so they know how to do it, but they haven't really got it down. They haven't honed that skill. They may be good and they may be better than other people, but they haven't got to that skill level that really is going to make a difference. Happy New Year's to you too, Kitty. Thank you. Now, a professional has really put in that time. They've really sat there, learned, honed their skill. I once read a book that was called Outliers. It's really interesting. Most libraries have it. You can probably get it on Audible. So if you like to listen to books on tape. And it just talked about people being in the right place, right time. But then it twisted it around that they honed their skills. And in that book, it stated that to be really great at something, you needed to practice that skill for 10,000 hours. And I thought, whoa, that is a lot of hours. But really, I think that was probably true. If you want to be a great ball player, you have to practice and practice. If you want to be a great artist, if you want to be a great homesteader, you have to practice. You have to do the work, put in the time. Now, a homesteader is just a Renaissance person. They know a lot of different things about a lot of different skills, which is good. But for me, a homesteader should really be a professional in maybe one or two places, areas in their homestead. The rest of it, they can be an amateur. They can know enough to do the stuff, and then they can find people that are really professionals that if they need help. Like for me as a homesteader, I consider myself as a professional gardener. I have been a master gardener for 20 years. I've gardened before then. I have taught classes. I've taught master gardener classes. I have honed that skill. I did all of those hours that you have to do. I've done every volunteer hour that I've had to do, an educational hour for the last 20 years. And I read and I do stuff. And I honestly can say I am a professional when it comes to gardening. Fruit trees, berries, anything like that. Well, look who's here. Hi, Brian. How are you? Good morning and Happy New Year to you. I hope your wife and family are just doing well. Kitty says, if it wasn't 2023 yet, and there was a lot of people on the stream and the numbers went to 67, everybody would go crazy with 67. I don't understand what that means, Kitty. I'll have to ponder that. So when it comes to my homestead, Kitty says that there's another person in the live chat. Yeah, Brian from Castle Hives is in the live chat. but I might not be able to see the people that are in the my Facebook live chat. I'm not sure if I can see that or not. Um, when it comes to homesteading and being, oh, Brian says that's me. Um, when it comes to homesteading, because that's what my channel is about, homesteading. Um, I want to become a professional in at least one or two areas. Then if I'm not a professional in other areas, I can ask for help. I can watch YouTube. I can read books. I can go to the extension office. I can find the people that could help. Like if I needed something welded, now could I weld? My son has showed me how to weld. I could weld, but I am not a professional welder. I'm not a professional plumber. These are skills that I don't have, but I can either barter or pay somebody, um, or find somebody that would do that work for me. But I really just think in all of our lives, even if you're not a homesteader, in all of our lives, I think we need to be able to hone a skill. Even if you hone one skill this year, what is something that you really need to learn to do? What is something that will help you in areas of your life? Like I'm building a website, right? I have a website for Suburban Homesteader, Wyoming, Arizona. Not that I do very much with it, but I have one. But I wanted to do a website for my artwork. And so I am trying to hone that skill. Now, some things are very cut and paste and you can do stuff with it. And I can understand that. But one part that I'm working on, um, I have to go to Google and I have to get these keys and these different things, and you go through these steps, and for some reason it's not working. So I have to find a professional that can help me because when it comes to that, I am definitely an amateur. On my homestead, I make soaps and I can make soaps, but I am nowhere near an expert at making soaps. Even though I have helped teach some classes, there is a difference between an amateur and a professional. Now, Brian is in here and he is a professional beekeeper. He has honed that skill. He knows about his bees. He knows what to look for. He knows what to watch. Um, he's taught people. He does his YouTube videos, but he's also with two other guys every single week talking about bees. He's become a professional in that area. And as homesteaders, I really think that that's something that we need to look at and say, okay, this is an area that, one, it should interest you. Um, Two, that you can really benefit in your life from that. And you may benefit other people from that. Because there's no way that we can learn everything to run our lives. We need people. We are not islands. We need people that we can call and say, hey, this is happening. Say you're new at having chickens on your homestead. Know somebody that has chickens. Have somebody that can, maybe they come over and they look at your setup before you even get those chickens because they have been raising chickens for a long time. They have a lot of information. They know stuff and they will probably see things that you don't see. And that's a great thing about having a professional is that they see things that you don't see and you are going, oh, I never even thought about that. But they have put in those hours. And so if you can find something in your life that you can become a professional at, you can help yourself and help so many other people. Um, it gives you a confidence. Like when I've been on gardening panels and people just throw questions at you, and it's like, you never know what they're going to ask you. I mean, seriously, you just don't know. And which makes it can be somewhat stressful, but the more that you've done that kind of thing, the more it's like, okay, I understand that. I can do that. I can answer that. And then sometimes people will throw you a question and the whole panel is stumped. And you just got to say, we're going to have to do some research on that because you don't want to give people the wrong information either. And so on my homestead, I am a professional at gardening with my vegetables, my flowers, my fruit trees, my berries. That I I put that time in. There are other areas on my homestead I am not a professional. Like I've had chickens many times through the years. Um, and now I usually just have them in the summertime. A friend of mine lets me borrow some of her chickens. And I mean, I've read lots of books on chickens, but if I had a problem, I would be going to her because she has chickens continuously. She has raised chickens for decades. And so she's come across different problems, different things you do. What might you do if your chicken is doing this? So though you can't be a professional in every single thing that you do, you're just an amateur in some things. That's okay. But if you can become a professional in some area of your life, you can use that skill, not only to help you, but why not? Maybe you want to have a little side hustle. You want to have some little extra money. Why not um, teach classes? Why not put your service out to people? Say, like Brian has some side hustles that I know about. He sells his honey from his bees. And so that's an income stream that he has on his homestead that is in addition to everything else that he does. I can sell my grafted trees. I can sell my vegetables. Um, because I bake, I can also sell things like I can make more money. Let's just be honest. I can make more money selling my jams or my pies than just selling my fruit by the pound. I mean, I do have to put that work in. But if I need it as a side hustle, because of the things I know, because I put that work in, I can easily do those things. I can do the farmers markets as an income stream because as homesteaders, now it'd be great if you could live on your homestead and you didn't need to do anything for money, but it's just not true. You have to do things repeatedly to have those different income streams because a lot of times with homesteading, the goal is to not work a 9 to 5 job. So if you can hone a skill that you become a professional at, then it opens doors that you can go in and speak to different groups. You can do a farmer's market. You could have sales online. You could do a lot of different things so that you could add to your income stream on your homestead when you become a professional in some part. Hi, Cheryl. How are ya? Good morning. Cheryl, I'm doing my very first Monday morning live stream, and we were talking about amateurs and professionals. And my feeling is that you should be at least a professional in some area of your life. For me, that's gardening. Now, do I think I'm a professional in painting, in art? I probably do. I have been doing artwork for decades. I have taught classes. I teach locally, publicly, privately. I teach both in Arizona and Wyoming, and I do markets, things like that. So I think that those are my two areas in my life that I am a professional artist and gardener. Oh, Cheryl says, almost missed, didn't get the alert. Ah, oh, thank you so much. Um, Actually, just speaking of art right now, a video is coming out later this afternoon, and my art kits are ready. I was saying earlier that I'm building a website. It is launched, though I'll still add stuff. It's not to the point where I'm happy, but it's still launched. SandyAberly.com. and it has my art kits on there. So there's going to be a video out later today talking about that. And so if you thought you could never paint a picture, this is why I decided to do this. I'm at markets and I'm at different things, and people say, "Oh, I can't even paint." So I did up 8x8 canvases, and it's pre-drawn on there. You get a photograph of what the painting that I did, though you could change the colors. Um, and you get brushes and you get paint, and everything comes in a kit, and it gets mailed to you. And so anybody can be an artist. Cheryl says, I still have your Christmas tree painting. It's always up all year. Ah, Eureka. I love it when I hear when people have won stuff off my channel. Um, and or they've come to a market that I've at and they've bought them. And then they tell me, I'll be someplace or I'll be on a live stream or they'll do it in the comments and they'll say that they still enjoy it and it makes me very happy. So I appreciate that. I am in a big show this weekend. It's called Art in the Park. Um, Friday we set up, and Saturday and Sunday it's all day long. I think it's 9 to 5 each day. Thousands of people come through. And so I'm totally excited about that. And I'm gonna have my art kits there. Oh, your grandson loves it too. Thank you. So what things in your life are you good at? Because the things that we are good at usually means that we have confidence in that. We like doing it. I mean, granted, there are people that are professionals that hate their lives. That's true. But what's one thing in your life that you're really good at that you could hone that skill and make a profit on it? Because I love gardening just for gardening, but I wanted more than that. I wanted to be able to teach. I wanted to be able to show people. I wanted to design gardens for people. And so I worked. I mean, I've worked hard for more than 20 years to learn those things. And as a master gardener, every year you're required to 20 hours of volunteer service, and I think it's about 20 hours of educational. So you have to learn things continuously. And and man, I think it helps your brain. If you're continuously learning things, if you're always honing that skill, that one area in your life that you consider yourself as a professional, I think when you really hone that, um, you become really good at it. You become a professional at it. Um, in that book that I mentioned at the beginning of the live stream, Outliers, they talked about kids in Canada that played hockey. And they said what happened is that the kids that were born early enough in the year so that they were playing hockey, say they're in fifth and sixth grade, they're playing hockey. The kids that were born earlier in the year were, of course, larger than the kids that were born just before the season started. So you go forward. Um, Brian, thanks so much for stopping in. It was great to see you here. Um, and so those kids got more ice time. They got, they were the ones that had extra coaching. And these other kids that were born later in the year, though they had great ability, these guys had an advantage. And they were the ones usually that went on to become professional hockey players. But coaches began to realize that these other kids could be great, great hockey players. And so they started doing these um, different teamworks that if you were born from here to here, you were on this kind of team. If you're born from here to here, you were on these kind of teams. And eventually, when they're in high school, they've all caught up. But there was all these kids that missed out because they didn't get the chance to become that professional. And I thought that was a good way to look at things, that sometimes people are just a slow starter. But if they work and they hone their skill, they can become that professional. And Teresa is here. Hello, hello. And Penny. Penny, my friend, how are ya? So nice to have people popping in on my very first Monday morning live stream, talking about amateur and professionals. I once heard a definition from a guy on YouTube that designated what an amateur was and what a professional was. And he used that um, the example of somebody that was an entertainer. Maybe they sing, maybe they play the piano. Um, and he defined an amateur that does 10 shows and only practices once, but a professional practices 10 times and only performs once. And that really made me think that those professionals, if they are going to be great singers, great piano players, great at any of those kind of skills as an entertainer, it's because they've practiced all those hours that nobody sees that stuff. They've done the work. They've um, decided that even if it takes me longer, I'm going to be this kind of person. And I thought that was very interesting to um, to for me. And I thought that really works on all kinds of areas of your life, because if you can practice 10 times and only perform it once, that one performance will be stellar. So, like, even as simple as gardening. Do you remember the very first time you had a garden? Very first time you had a garden. Um, did everything grow the way you wanted it to? No. I mean, I have stuff that sometimes fails now. I tell people all the time that loofahs are the bane of my existence, because why can I not grow loofahs? I've tried them down in Arizona here. I've tried them in Wyoming. Loofahs are not my friends. And I don't know what the deal is. People send me seeds that they've grown of loofahs and they start to grow. And I never get big loofahs. Never. I don't know what the deal is. I've tried everything anybody's told me to do. But I am not a professional when it comes to loofahs. Now, could I be? I'm sure I could. I could put in the time. I could do more research. I could amend my soil to be what it should be to grow loofahs. It's just not that important to me. Um, Kitty says, "Can you tell me how to donate? Because I don't know how to donate." Um, are we talking donating in general or donating on my live stream? Um, Usually on there should be a button. I don't have my phone up. Um, Usually you should be able to down by where you post, just below that there should be a little thing that you can donate. But you have to tell me if we're talking about just donating in general or to my live stream. Um, oh, um, see how Teresa did a super sticker? Thank you, Teresa. There should be some kind of little symbol. I don't know if it's got a dollar thing or if it's just a sticker, because I think you can do super stickers. I think you can do super chats, different things like that. Because I know I've donated on people's live streams before. And um, I'm also going to pop up this. So if you are a YouTuber and you are thinking about doing live streams, um, there is a discount there for, I think that it will show that. Hmm, I don't know. I can't get it to pop that. That's weird. Anyway, StreamYard has a $10 discount right now, and so I tried to do that. But oh, there it pops up. There it goes. And so you can click that, and then if you're going to be, because some people I use StreamYard just because I use the free version. Um, but there's a lot of different platforms that people use for live streams. But what can you do this year? It's 2026. It's the beginning of the year. Um, is there something that you love to do? Like, one of my friends loves to crochet. She does. Um, Teresa says, don't use a smiley face, hit the sign. Then you choose your denomination amount. Thank you, Teresa. That's sweet of you to help. Um, but she loves to crochet, and she doesn't want to do shows. She doesn't want to do farmers markets. But I said, you can go on your Facebook page, or if you do one of your um, a video, and you're talking about crocheting, whatever you're crocheting, you could just tell them. They could send you an email, and you could set it up with them, and they could buy that for you. Um, so that is just something, because for me, she's definitely a professional when it comes to that, because being a professional doesn't have to be this grandiose CEO kind of person. Being a professional is some area of your life that you've taken the time and you've worked and you've honed that skill and you're good at that skill, and you can teach others, and it just really helps um, that you can pick up whatever it is. Like, she picks up yarn and her crochet hook, and she can make so many things. It amazes me, the different stitches that she knows just in her head. She's not looking up how to do that, or I haven't done that for a while, I don't remember how to do that. It's just there. She is a professional in that. And so whatever it is that you love to do, hone that skill in 2026. Become a professional in that. You don't To become a professional doesn't mean you have to sell anything. It doesn't mean that you have to teach anything. Sometimes becoming a professional in a certain area of your life is just for you or your family. I think it's just important that there are certain areas in our life that we just become good at. I think it becomes very satisfying that, like, when I look at my yards and I can go, this makes me happy. I I changed both places, because both in Arizona and Wyoming, into something that when people come into my yards, they go, whoa. And not that I did it for them, um, but I do appreciate that they like it. Um, but that was something that I did for me. Um, like, I always tell Joe that weeding is cheaper than therapy. That um, sometimes when I need that noise that's all around me to stop. I need to weed, and I don't want somebody helping me weed. I just want to weed. I just want to. I mean, not that I haven't put on a book, but for the most part, I don't want any noise at all. I want to hear the birds singing. I want to hear the leaves rustling in the wind. I don't want anything around me. And when I go to weed, it is fabulous. I could be a professional weeder. Uh, yeah, I'm a professional weeder. No, because it's just, that is a zone that I'm okay with. And I can look at a little tiny plant and I can go, yeah, that's a weed. I can pull that. Where I don't let Joe weed, because he can't do that, because that's not a skill of his. It's just one of those things, because to me, I am a professional gardener. On my homestead, I can look at an area and I can think of things to do. Um, I'm not satisfied with green grass. In fact, in Wyoming, My grass is getting less and less and less. Joe doesn't even use the lawnmower anymore. He only uses a weed whacker because that's the way I like it. Now, there are plenty of people that love their green lawns, and that's totally up to them. But for me, I'm a gardener, and my gardens use less water than those lawns do. But be a professional in some area of your life in 2026. Choose one area that you just want to hone in, and you get so good that you don't do it wrong anymore. You do it right. And not that you shouldn't have other skills, but you can be an amateur in those skills, but be a professional in at least one skill this year. And it's past my 30 minutes. I appreciate you guys stopping in for my very first Monday Moments. Next week, we are actually going to talk about, actually, it's pretty fun because on this Thursday night, my live stream on Thursday night is about, can I make $1,000 more a month? And the ways I'm going to try to do that. But when we come on Monday morning, we're going to talk about money being more than a number and how that reflects on those two different things. So everybody, thanks so much. I hope you look forward to my video today on my art kits, and I will post them on my regular Suburban Homesteader Wyoming. I'll have a video there. I'll have it on my little tiny channel, my art channel, and on Instagram. So everybody, thanks so much. I appreciate you stopping in today. Have a fabulous